I still shudder at the thought of those 14 days in captivity. It was a nightmare that I never thought I'd wake up from. It happened on a typical Monday morning in Lagos, Nigeria. I was on my way to work, driving through the busy streets of Ikeja, when suddenly, my car was ambushed by a group of armed men. They were masked and dressed in black, and they quickly surrounded my vehicle. Before I could even react, they dragged me out of the car and threw me into the back of a waiting van. I was blindfolded and gagged, and I could feel the van speeding away from the scene. I was taken to a remote location, deep in the Nigerian bush. It was a makeshift camp, surrounded by dense foliage and guarded by heavily armed men. I was thrown into a small, dingy room, with no windows and a single, flickering light bulb. The leader of the kidnappers, a tall, menacing figure with a scar above his left eyebrow, came to see me shortly after I arrived. He demanded that I cooperate with them, and that I convince my family to pay a ransom in exchange for my safe release. I was terrified, but I tried to remain calm. I told them that my family would do everything in their power to secure my release, but I knew that it wouldn't be easy. My family wasn't wealthy, and I knew that the kidnappers' demands would be steep. The days that followed were a blur of fear, uncertainty, and despair. I was fed meager rations, and I was subjected to physical and psychological torture. I was beaten, threatened, and humiliated, and I began to lose hope. But I never gave up. I knew that I had to stay strong, for myself and for my family. I knew that they would be searching for me, and that they would do everything in their power to bring me home safely. I tried to keep myself occupied by thinking about my life before the kidnapping. I thought about my family, my friends, and my job. I thought about all the things I wanted to do, all the places I wanted to see. I knew that I had to hold on to those thoughts, to keep myself sane and focused. As the days turned into weeks, I began to lose track of time. I didn't know what day it was, or what time of day it was. I was trapped in a never-ending cycle of fear and uncertainty. But then, on the 14th day of my captivity, I heard the sound of gunfire and shouting outside my room. I was terrified, thinking that the kidnappers were fighting among themselves, or that the police had arrived and were storming the camp. But then, I heard the sound of footsteps outside my door, and a voice shouting, "Police! We're here to rescue you." I was overjoyed, and I burst into tears as the police officers rushed into my room and freed me from my captors. I was taken to a safe location, where I was reunited with my family and received medical attention. It was a moment of pure joy, and I was grateful to be alive. I knew that I would never forget those 14 days in captivity, but I also knew that I would never let them define me. I was a survivor, and I was determined to move on from the experience and live a happy, fulfilling life. The police later told me that they had been tracking the kidnappers for weeks, following a trail of clues and intelligence that had led them to the remote camp where I was being held. They had raided the camp, arresting several of the kidnappers and freeing me from captivity. I was grateful to the police for their bravery and diligence, and I knew that I owed them a debt of gratitude for saving my life.